Okay, welcome to the realistic drop shadow tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make a realistic drop shadow within Photoshop CS3. It's fairly simple and we can go ahead and get started. As you can see here, I have a section of fencing or chicken wire, and I previously made that. Now, this already is our completed product. We could tweak it some more so that the edges aren't as refined and starkly cut off. But for our tutorial purposes, this is what we're going to use. So this is our end result, and I'll show you how we get there. It's fairly simple. So we're going to go ahead and delete this layer. There we go. Now our chicken wire has no drop shadow. So we'll click on the chicken wire layer and double click it. And there you see we now have the layer style coming up. Go ahead and click on drop shadow. This is the default. I always keep it at the default, and 99.9% it's 120 degrees for the angle. Unless I'm working with something very specific, that's the only time I change it. So I'm going to leave these the way they are and go ahead and click OK. Then you're going to see over here in our layers palette the effects come up. Go ahead and right click on that FX, and down here is how we're going to manipulate that drop shadow all on its own. We're going to click create layer. And now you can see that it has its own drop shadow layer. So leaving everything the way that it is, make sure chicken wire drop shadow is selected, or whatever your layer style might be called, or layer might be called at this point. And I'm going to click on Control T, or you can go to Edit Free Transform. So Control T, we're going to get this box. Now I want a little bit more maneuverability, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click on this, and this is going to give us a much more user-friendly, and it's broken down into small sections so we can manipulate each part of the drop shadow individually. So I'm going to go ahead and start manipulating this and really making this look like it is coming off the page at me. Okay, and I'm going to grab this corner, kind of pull it back, and then we'll grab this one and pull it down. Okay, I'm going to click the check mark, commit those changes. I'm going to slide over here, and that's a little stark, a little harsh for a drop shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and type in 52%. I like that. Then I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and 4.5 seems to be roughly about what looks good to me on this one. It is going to look different once you put it on a background that isn't stark white. For instance, if we were to change this background and fill it with this pink foreground color, see how it doesn't look as harsh? And of course, you can take this a step further and you can manipulate this a bit more. I'll show you that really quickly. Grab our marquee tool, Shift Control X to go into the liquify filter. Be sure show drop shadow is not checked. That way we can see what we're manipulating. And you can go in and just tweak these ends here. Just pull them, push them. I'm going to make this brush a bit bigger. So this is just going to make this look a little bit more realistic, as if the fence or chicken wire itself was not just digitally cut right off. Kind of just yank these out, push them, pull them, maneuver them. Now we'll go ahead and click OK and commit that change. And then you'll notice that we may need to change our drop shadow a bit. But at this point, I'm really not too concerned with it because it just gives it a bit more of a realistic feel. So there we have it. Realistic drop shadows in Photoshop CS3. Thanks for joining me, and please check out my other tutorials.